Dear world, you name it, we cover it from the world of the singles to the behind the scenes of the greatest movie ever filmed, called Marriage. We dig into everything from dating 101, why won't they commit? It's complicated. I can't do it if it's the three of us. They're a good person, but I'm not attracted to them in that way, too. They really didn't disclose who they were before I said I do. How do I do this if they can't keep a job? The bills are paid, but the bedroom is suffering. Did I marry you or did I marry your family? Because we can only take care of us. Let's open up our marriage. Why do I have to buy into your beard gang illusion? You could have told me you were on the down low and we could have remained friends and not married. And last but not least, did you marry me or your pastor? Have we gotten your attention yet? If so, tune into Unique Perspectives Love Talk Radio.
All right. That one gets a little abrupt.
Really? I was going to say, right?
Had me jamming, right? I was all jamming.
All right. Okay.
All right. Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Unique Perspectives Love Talk Radio. I'm your host, Charles Dixon, and I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Adam Ford. How are you, sir?
What's up, fam? How y'all doing on a Thursday afternoon? I'm okay. I'm good. God is good. You do what you got to do. You run and you sit down for a minute and you take a nap and you get up and you get
it's beginning to sound like the older folks routine, right?
Hey, you know what? I'm realizing every day. You're not as young as you used to be, so you got to do what you got to do at the end of the day, man.
You got to do what you got to do, man. Because you got to do whatever to keep it going, man. I'm telling you.
Man, dude. Life be lifing.
Yeah, life be lifing. I'm trying to tell you, it be lifing. But anyway, it's good that everything is good. Really quickly, Adam, today the barber almost got the boot.
What you mean?
So here, let me just tell you this really quickly. For as long, I don't know what it is, but maybe people that are in the hair industry, whether you're a barber or a salon person, this is what I don't understand. Some of the best artists just don't do well at customer service. And when I say customer service number one is be prompt.
Well, yeah.
The person, it goes a long way when you look, if somebody's spending their money, if you can't be prompt, at least be proficient and say, hey, you know what? Hey, I'll be there in 20 minutes. Apologies. Right. I'll give you a discount. Anything, whether the person say, oh, don't worry about it or not.
Right.
Don't just make a habit of feeling like I'm talented, I'm good. You like how I make you look, so you'll wait. That's just, that's not good at all.
That's a problem. Yeah. Now we're talking about, we might be friendly to each other and, have a little rapport.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean for you to take advantage of the fact that you are still in the service industry. And here's the thing, though. So, like we said, life happens. Things are going to happen.
Yeah.
Send a text.
Yes.
Call me. Let me know you're running late, or do we have to reschedule? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Don't let me have me sitting out there and,
Good, Russ. No, listen, man. That's Russell from back in the. Me and Russell grew up together in Southeast. We used to. Russell was the cool, funny dude, but Russell would throw the hands with any. Okay. Back in the day, trying to rush. But no, anyway. But yeah, man. So what I was saying is it's just that I even learned. We learn even in professional relationships, it make you look over into relationships and say, think about it. You're depending on your professional person for a service.
Right.
You're depending on your relationship person for a courtesy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And so we say to ourselves, I'm putting that emphasis over there, but really it makes you think about how we show up. Am I showing up like the barber? Or, you know what I'm saying? How do I show up? So it makes you kind of think, if you're in business with your person, how are you showing up to them? You being courteous, professional, considerate, all those kind of things like that.
Because it kind of speaks to the fact that whether or not, regardless of how good this particular person might be at what they're doing, how much are you willing to allow them to slide with whatever the infraction or violation is?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm giving you a good segue for the rest of the topic for the rest of the day. I'm giving you a segue here. No, but it's important that we understand that again, that you're not taking your customers for granted. Because that's your livelihood, right? That's your business, right?
Mm-hmm.
With respect. You know what I'm saying? Don't abuse them. Make sure that they know what the deal is in terms of what information they need to know so that they can make a decision that's best for them. You know what I'm saying? And if you're not doing that as a business owner, then what are you doing? You're not going to have a business for very long if you treat your customers like that. I can tell you that.
Believe that. I'm telling you. But yeah, anyway, before we get going, today's topic is the tale of the comfortable fool. Oh, I'm not concerned as long as I'm satisfied.
Wow.
Say it again. I'm not concerned about being a fool as long as I'm satisfied. You know, Adam, before, actually, we're not going to repeat last week. You go ahead and read and we'll just go from there. Because I don't want to start getting on my soapbox. So you
already on your soapbox.
Oh, gosh.
So you just want me to read this, huh?
Yeah, this is real quick.
All right. Yeah. Who would have thought that the luxury of convenience would be one of the biggest attractors of love? That's right, convenience, which we all love and adore, can actually lead to a space of comfort, which then leads to complacency and ultimately places us in a comatose state. Is the satisfaction of an exchange that fills the voids in one's life worth practically losing it to a slow death of deceit?
Interesting.
Okay.
You know, when I think of this topic, I say to myself, over time, you know, people always say your life becomes the sum total of your choices while in it. So whether, you know, however you started off with your parents, however that looked when you got in your teens, whatever that looked, your 20s and on, all of those decisions that we do or things that we allow and take, they tend to shape us as we get older. Mm-hmm. And so when I think sometimes about this topic, it sounds rough to say comfortable food. But the thing of it is, if we're honest, some of us know we are playing the role of the fool. But we give it a pass because we weigh it on the scales of life.
Okay.
And we say, I know this person is blah, blah, blah. But at least I'm getting this. And as long as this is happening and as long as this exchange is working to my good, then as long as, in other words, just don't put it in my face.
Okay.
If you don't put it in my face, I'll give you a pass as long as this continues to work well in my favor. Okay. And so in saying that, I've noticed over the years in various conversations, whether with men or women, like it could just be regular shop talk, somebody purposefully calling you on the phone. And if you just listen to people without adding your input, you'll hear where you'll say to yourself, I think that's probably not the good decision, right? To be either with this person or what's happening is not working well for you.
Right.
But what people will do is give you all of the excuses to protect their position as to why they're there.
Right.
Rather than acknowledging the truth. And so one of the things that we do that puts us in a bad bind is sometimes we allow people to put us to sleep, right? And that's where the comfort part comes in. Okay. Their patterns develop such a comfort that we just begin to be like, we tend to align it to say, oh, this person they're consistent. I can depend on them to do this, that, or the other. So I'll just relax. Mm-hmm. But a lot of the times, I say this all the times, people can be consistent in their wrong. They can be consistent with ill intent, right? Mm-hmm. All consistency doesn't equate to a great day and a great time, right? And so I say that to say, yes, comfort is absolutely what we all want to do.
Right.
But we shouldn't do it without also being vigilant. right? You got to be vigilant to what's going on around you. No different than what you could do in your neighborhood where you may think you in a good place and the weather is nice and I'm just going to hum-dum down the street on my phone and not pay attention, right? And those would be the moments where you get ran up on because you slept on the situation. So in our relationships, many of us, to my thought, to many of us, we aren't as visual as we need to be as to what's really happening behind the scenes. You know, there are things that are being shown to you and treated the way you're being treated, but then there is an underlying truth that we're not looking at. And so it's that one truth that's so powerful that it deems us the fool over time because we see it. It's like you ever notice those days where you wake up and it looks cloudy a little bit. It starts even raining. But if you look over yonder, you see the sun sitting right back there, right? The sun is still there. It's just you see all the other elements in front of it. So the thing is, those other elements may be like, oh, I love the rain. Oh, I love when it's not too hot. But you look over there, you see the sun looming. So that means soon enough, you're going to feel the heat. So that's what I'm saying, that we just need to start, paying more attention in some of these things that we're in. And I think we get to the point where we get too complacent and we just feel overly confident that these things are going to work without fail, without us having to do really any reciprocal input to make it work.
Interesting. So, yeah, I okay, all right. So I guess one of my things, and I think we were talking about it before the show started, was the fact that I think. For me, I think it's okay to be comfortable in a relationship. And what I mean by that is that you're not feeling
anxiety on edge.
Or you're not feeling that you can't be who you are within the parameters of your relationship, but there is a level and a degree of comfortability that allows you to be who you are. So there ought to be some element of comfort in your relationship. But I think the issue that I know you're addressing here is the fact that a lot of us have become complacent within our relationships to the point where we are willing to, how can I put this? We're willing to overlook some glaring, toxic, manipulative, exploitive practices and behavior that are not in our best interest, but because this relationship serves or meets a particular need that we have, we are willing to overlook whatever the violation is and to allow the relationship to continue on as it should, regardless of what really should be happening within that relationship. And I think that is a problem because I think a lot of times we have a tendency to close our eyes or squint so that we don't see the issue. So that we kind of like we kind of like want to almost like make the issue fuzzy so that we can't readily identify. But the issue is there. The issue is right there in front of your face, and it's not going anywhere. It's going to be right there until you address it. And it's funny because, and I'll use this as an example. So, for example, say the girl that I'm interested in she looks really good. You know what I'm saying? She's very attractive. She can hold the conversation for the most part. But there's something just about her that I know that I should walk in the other direction. I should leave this particular person. But because she has what I want on one level, I'm willing to leave all the other levels unaddressed for the sake of this one level.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And because she has it in terms of what I want, I'm willing to go, well, I'm not going to worry about the other stuff. As long as I'm good with this, then I'm fine. That's a problem. Because now, Charles, not only are we overlooking one issue for the sake of getting something met in our lives, now we're willing to almost like make an excuse for it, just so we can get what we want from them.
Wow. So listen, I'm going to go ahead and just cut to the chase. All right?
Please cut to the chase, man. Come on.
I'm going to get to the crust behind a lot of this. Okay, there's a series of stories that have come to my attention, and I tried to think of a good way to maybe talk about them. So I'm going to go ahead on it and just lay it on out. All right. Scenario one. Younger woman, slightly older guy. The guy comes in seasoned. He seemingly has his stuff together. He's offering a lot of quality time. He's kind of basically swooning this younger person, right? She's a professional. She's in the maybe hair industry, I should say. And the person is like doing all of the necessary things that people want you to do and be like, oh, he's showing up and doing all this stuff, right? Great. So the person, so then the guy, he's consistent for in quadrants. He's consistent for a minute, and then he has to take a trip.
Right.
And he's going to take care of something with the family, or I got to go do this. And he's gone, like, he's communicating. He's gone like a couple of weeks or so at a time.
Okay.
To another state.
Wow.
Not local, to another state. Wow. And so, and it began to happen consistently. So where the conversation came in is the woman is so, she can get so enamored with the consistent quadrant and all of the things that come in it.
Okay.
Then when he does his disappearing act, but still communicates, then it's like, well, he said he's coming back. He checked in, he called and this, that, and the other, and all of these things, but still in the same, he doing him. And so what I just simply said, I said, he could very well be doing what you say he's doing. So be it, right? I said, but I would be remiss to say, oh, this is the important part.
Okay.
When I was talking to a mutual person in between about it, the person said, I don't think they're worried about it because as long as, he shows up. Her word was, he shows up. So it really doesn't matter what he's really doing because he's taking her out. He's doing nice things. They're going to nice restaurants. But so whatever the mystery life is, unless it's mushed in my face, I guess I can live with it until it comes super uncomfortable, right?
Right.
So that's scenario number one. Let's hold on to that one. Scenario number one. Scenario number two is married. Well, I say married because the person says separated. Okay. Married person, but you're still married, right? Separated or not. Married person, single person.
Okay.
The married person does everything this guy likes.
Wow.
He's attracted to her. He says she can cook her tail off. Wow. All of these things. She looks good. All of that. He's a friend. So I understand. I've seen the person, whatever. So make a long story short, he's talking about this person. Now here, check this out, Adam. Yeah. This married person has upheaved his life. He already had a woman at first.
Wow.
But being busy at these little places, he encountered this married, separated woman who was attracted to him. He started in on being with her. Dealing with her. They started with their little meetups in the hotels and all of that. Then he dumped the girlfriend. The married woman became focus number one.
Wow.
Now, when he told me about it, I said, so she's married and she live in that big house? Yeah. And I said, so nobody comes, no man don't come. She ain't separated. You know how petty in these separations can be. People going to show up. They're not going to just walk away and let you live on. So he says, I see, do stuff in the closet and the shoes and clothes and things like that. But she said they separated and they gone. And I said, well, listen, as true as that may be, the one thing I will not do is if I see clothes, first of all, the separation piece is just not going to sit well.
Right.
Seeing clothes and all that, I'm definitely not going to close my eyes overnight.
Wow.
You're going to wake up to a 4-5 to your head. But anyway, I'm not doing all that. So the point is, the guy, when I sat and talked to him, I said, listen, if you like her all like that, and if she likes you all like that, why not just be patient and wait? Right. If this separation is happening and leading to this divorce, like you said.
Right.
Well, yeah, I mean, she said, dude might be petty and take a little time, and we ain't trying to let our love go out the window in the meantime. And so this is what he said. And I said to him, I said, but listen, the fact still remains she's married. She's married. You know what he said, Adam?
What did he say?
He said, in my eyes, if I don't see the husband, she's married to me.
What?
That's what he said.
That's crazy, yo. That's absolutely
crazy. He said, in his eyes, if he don't see the husband, he can live with seeing the remnants in the house because the house so nice. But if he don't see the husband and they getting separated and the dude is far away like the woman told him he was, that's going to be it. And he's going to go ahead and be with him.
So let me put it like this. He might see it in his eyes as since the husband is not there and he sees her and they're both married. But legally, she's still married to that guy.
Correct.
Okay? Legally, that's an affair. That's adultery.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if she was trying to get, I guess her share of whatever the assets were, she's messing up because now she got this guy, you know what I'm saying? And it's obviously infidelity now because we're not, we're still married, but we're not completely divorced yet. No. You're going to mess yourself up. I'm telling you right now.
Here's where the icing was on the cake.
Yeah.
He didn't expect me to ask him. When he said that question, I said, if we're going to go there, I said, just answer me this one question if y'all are so in love and you feel as though all of this is going to come from this quote unquote relationship.
Yeah.
I said, you in this person's mini mansion, this family, you up in there, just coming up in there every day with your little car, your bag and all of that. I said, whose name is the house in? And you know what he said?
Come on.
He said, she said, it's in dude name. I said, you in the man's house doing all of this to his wife. And so I say this to say, and I told him this, and that's why I named the show this. I said, don't be a comfortable fool.
Yeah, real talk.
I said, because some things are right in your face. Yeah. And I said, it doesn't take pain and the long extent of what comes at the end to learn that. Don't get me wrong. I know sometimes emotion gets in the way. We have feelings. The person is doing all these things and exercising all these pleasantries, and I've never been treated this way, all of that.
Right.
But aside from all of that and all of your voids in your life,
right,
that person on paper and contextually has a person for all of that.
Exactly.
And you're the person standing in the seat of the violator.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And here's the thing, though. So this is how far along do you have to be to completely overlook the reality of what you're dealing with? The girl is married. She got a husband. Their names are on the deed. You know what I'm saying? His clothes are in the house.
But
how deluded in your own mind? How deluded do you have to be to completely overlook the reality? And here's the thing, y'all. A lot of times we will jump over reality in order to service what we want at the time that we want it.
Wow.
But that doesn't help you. That's a problem that you're able to absolutely just go around what the reality is in order to meet your own need. That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. That's absolutely crazy for him to do that like that. Okay, let me put it like this. So, okay, so maybe she gets divorced.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Or maybe she doesn't get divorced. Okay. And maybe they get married. You know what I'm saying? Maybe her and the dude that she's messing around with, maybe they do get married or whatever like that. What's to say that doesn't happen again? And that he is now the dude with the name on the deed.
Yes.
And she's the one that's stepping out or whatever. I mean, I'm just saying
that's the part of the story nobody tells. And that is, if men or women are honest, we never forget how we got the person.
Right.
And in most cases, if we honest and we can be real, most people, when you find somebody you're so attracted to, so fine, all saying all the right words, rarely are they unattached.
Right.
And when I say unattached, I mean, think about it. If they're that great to shake your foundation, how come they don't have nobody? Right? If they're that great, you know they got somebody. In most cases, they are attached to, there's a man or a woman they're either living with, they're telling we get engaged, you're my fiance, or in the extreme cases, you know, I mean, we are kind of like married still on paper, but we don't live together and he's doing him and I'm doing me. So yeah, I mean, you ain't got nothing to worry about. We can just, I'm free to do me until this whole, it's just a matter of time till we go to court. And you buy into that because the dude, Adam, when I tell you now, I'll keep the rated X stuff off the table. Oh. But the lady, when I tell you, the lady has this man almost like David in the Bible. He's ready to send the man's husband on the front line.
Oh, Lord.
That's where Bathsheba, he's ready to pull a Bathsheba. Because he's so in, she this. I mean, he brags, she can do this good. She this, but you see her, oh my God. And I told him, I said, listen, we never keep this in mind. When we're done getting all rabbled up in our minds, we never forget how we procured the person we have. And if you stole them, or if they were prodded away in the midst of something significant, the first thing that happens when they become yours is, I wonder if they're gonna, I mean, why you gotta hang out with your friend too long? I mean, you told me, now you're thinking she's being who you and her were with someone else.
Right.
Or vice versa. You know what I mean? And so we don't think about these things when we're in it and when we're taking people and manipulating and finessing someone to see our case. And when we get them, you say to yourself, well, I easily got you. Who else can easily get you from me? Right. There is always somebody better than the next.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If the person is looking for that. Yeah. And so I told him, I said, he got a quiet. And I told him, I said, look, I'm not trying to offend you, but I'm just telling you, as a friend, don't be a comfortable fool.
Right.
And the reason I could partially tell him, Adam, I guess we have to go into testimony time. All right.
Oh,
then I'll go back to story one. The reason I told him on tonight, Adam, you guys probably remember me over time talking about a story where I was connected with someone who had a distant husband, only in distance, but not on paper.
Right.
Somebody said on paper he was right front and center on the front pew, but in distance he was a few cities over. And so I asked her, listen, Adam, now I can at least give myself a little credit. In the beginning, when she first told me, she didn't really tell me that particular part of the situation until maybe a couple of weeks in. And so I said, so what is your deal? Well, I was with my ex for like 5 years. And this is where it threw me off. I'm thinking she's talking about the husband. So at this point, when I met her, she was already 9 years separated.
Wow.
But let's check this out, though. The 5 years was with another guy.
Wow.
And that guy was even separated. So she was 5 years with this guy, left him alone. You know, she's one of them, you got to have her type, I guess. So she comes around and she immediately puts these kind of marital-like demands on you. And it's kind of like, I think, let's make this a teaching moment.
Okay.
All right. When people have been married, you can probably attest to this. Mm-hmm. When someone has been married before, and when they are separated or divorced, mm-hmm. even though they may be deemed single again, some of their expectations seemingly look like, well, I'm looking at this from a lens of this person acting marital-like. Okay. Not necessarily an organically single person that's like, oh, you've been married, that's so good. You want the person to be like, oh yeah, me and my husband, we split the bills, we did this. Oh, he got his piece and we got divorced, and now I'm settled and this is what I have. Mm-hmm. You kind of look for that, right? So in this person, she, I told her when she first told me about how long the divorce was, because I thought the separation was coming soon, the way she was talking. Right. And when she said, I said, well, how long you been separated? Oh, like 9 years. Now, this is where, Adam, I probably should have pivoted and turned left. Right. But you know how we do when the Bible says, don't look upon their eyelids. But anyway, there is a scripture that does say that. But anyway, it talks about not looking upon the woman's eyelids and all this kind of, in other words, don't put yourself in a state of lust. So to make a long story short, I continued on this path, but I did it begrudgingly because I told her, plain and simple, and this is before I was knowingly being the fool. I wasn't trying to be comfortable being the fool. I told her, I said, listen, what you're asking from me and how you're asking to this level of commitment, mm-hmm. I said, it's hard for me to do that if I can't see the path ahead. She said, what do you mean? The path ahead means if I wanted to say, let's pivot to be married, right. I can't. You're married. Right. And I said, so there is a block in the way. Whether right. you think he's 3 cities over, we don't see each other, we don't talk, irregardless, if you chose to reconcile today, guess what? My tour of duty is over. Right. And I'm just sitting there to deal with the residuals. And she never could understand that. But she just wanted me to be this marriage-like, committed-like guy, like her husband, but not her husband. And I was telling her, it's difficult to ask that of anybody on that level if you're not available to give them it all. Yeah. If you're available to give it all, then by all means, let's lock in. But if you're not available to go to the end, don't put people in them situations. And so I say all of that to say, being comfortable for me, and even though I wasn't blindly comfortable, I was open-eyed comfortable. And still it didn't feel good at the end, Adam. Right. When it doesn't work like you think it should or it should have, you end up with the wrong end of the stick. And so I was just trying to say to the guy, I was like, listen, been there, done that, got the t-shirt. I said, you don't need to be a comfortable fool. Right. I said, you may like her, she cooking for you. Look, that's the recipe for disaster. You like how she look. You coming over there, she laying all out the dishes, doing all the sexual stuff and everything, no complaint, the money, all of that. That's a terrible concoction. Yeah. And he just said, when I told him don't be a comfortable fool, I hear you. I got it, man. I hear you. And he said something I used to say a long time ago, which I don't say no more. Okay. He said, I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. Oh my God. I said, well, good luck, because you may not make it to the bridge, my friend. You might not make it to the bridge, but good luck. And so really quickly, circling back to the one lady. On tonight, the lady who has story number 1 with the lady who is in her profession and she's being swooned by Mr. Polished. I always hate to say I told people so, Adam. On tonight, I hate people I tell them because they get mad and say, you don't want the best for me. But anyway, listen, people got to understand wanting the best is wanting the truth. You got to understand that wanting the best is not being silent and being, what's the word, complicit, as you say, Adam, complicit with the situation. If they're cool and ask you for your advice, then that's the advice. Okay. That's how I see it. That's it. And so, sure enough, Mr. Distant is Mr. Family.
Wow.
She don't have no kids. It's just her. She's on her little life, doing her thing. So he swooned in to her area. You know, she over there in Cleveland, in her little area. He swooned on in, but his family is elsewhere. Right? And so when he come over there, it's because he has business. So because he has business, you are my focal point while I'm in business mode in this region.
Right.
But I always put you to bed good enough. Let me tuck you in while I travel. And I'll see you when I come back and pull the covers off. That's pretty much what goes on. And so that's why I say in a lot of these situations, it all comes down to you really get to see how much people want so many things. We want so many boxes checked. We want all of these luxuries of treatment and all of this, but we don't really, we don't really want the truth behind it all. We just want the mirage. And that mirage will put you to sleep and dope you up and have you in a coma for years.
Yeah.
And the person still saying, I love you, and you in a coma. You can't even hear them. You just raise your hand. Squeeze my hand if you're still stupid.
Oh,
but anyway, yeah, so we got to be careful, man. I'm telling you.
Okay, so and I don't want to come. Ooh, so for me, when I hear stuff like this, and whenever it comes to situations, I always like to reduce the situation to its least common denominator.
Okay.
Because that's the only way that you're going to be able to get access to the heart of the matter or the truth of the matter. And you're talking about that, and I'm even thinking about my own life in terms of where I've been and what I've done and who I've been with and everything like that. The reality is, Charles, is that this is a problem because we want what we want, regardless of
what it looks like,
of ramifications and consequences, regardless of collateral damage, regardless of all of the aftermath that will flow in after we have made that decision. We want what we want, and we want it. We want what we want so badly, so desperately, that we are willing to overlook grievous egregiouses and violations against ourselves. Because every time we want what we want and we're willing to overlook all of the issues, there is a consequence that comes behind that. And for whatever reasons, as my grandma would say, we are hard-headed. We just don't get it. That what we're wanting is not good for us. Wow. What we want does not help us. If anything, it hurts us. It hinders us. But because we want what we want, we like literally like, well, to heck with everything else, I want what I want. I'm not going to be satisfied until I get it.
Wow.
And how many of us live like that?
Wow.
How many of us are willing to overlook glaring issues? Somebody's married. She's somebody's wife. This is somebody's husband.
Yeah.
You're willing to overlook the reality of what is there in order to get your personal desires and wants satisfied. You are literally controlled and manipulated by what you want, and you're willing to do anything and everything to get it. Well, what are we doing? What are we really doing? What are we really doing, man? Come on, y'all. And here's the thing. I know I've said this before, and I want to repeat it. And I want to say it again. And I want you to really catch it. Aren't you worth a whole person in a whole relationship? Because if you think about your friend with the woman that's married, he's only getting a percentage of her.
Yeah, that's it.
He's not getting all of her, because even if he has the desire to marry her, he can't marry her just to be the one that you were with, because they were already married.
That's it.
You're only allowed a percentage of the person. You can't have all of them. Why? Because they belong to somebody else. Shouldn't that be a reason to leave them alone because they belong to somebody else? Why do you want somebody else's stuff?
Stolen waters are sweet. No, go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Yeah, mess you up every time.
Right. And sweets aren't good for you, but go ahead.
But here's the thing, though, but we want what we want so bad enough that we're willing to overlook all of this stuff. We're willing, Charles, we are willing to be the comfortable fool for the sake of a night of passion that doesn't lead anywhere except right there. That's it. It ends, it begins, and it ends right there in that moment. But we think, oh, this is it. This is what I want. This is all that I need to have. This is it right here. When in fact, it's not what you need. You keep wanting things that work against you.
Wow.
Everything that you want is working against you. Why would you want something that's not going to help you and propel you and promote you and encourage you? And instead, you want things that impede you. You want things that tear you down. You want things that visit negative consequences on your life. I don't want to live like I want. I don't want to live manipulated by what I want. Because here's the thing, though, Charles. What I want changes from day to day. There is no solid, concrete foundation for what I want, because what I want is based on what I see in social media. What I want is based on what commercial I see on TV. What I want is the first person that comes across my eyes. What I want. And we can't even get that straight. You know what I'm saying? Wow. For a while, like I've said constantly before, and I'm going to continue to say it again, we think that what we want is what we actually need, when in fact it's not. It has nothing to do with what we need.
At all.
Yet and still, we want what we want, and people be damned if you're trying to tell me otherwise. You can't be my friend if you're trying to tell me that I shouldn't go after this particular person. You can't be in my circle if you're trying to tell me I shouldn't pursue this woman that's already married. You can't tell me not to pursue this man that's not my husband.
Yeah.
Why? Because I want what I want.
Wow.
If you're not going to be with me, you need to get out.
So, as I was listening to you talk, what I think sometimes it potentially can be. Some of us, it's not that we don't know we're being foolish or we don't see the signs. But a lot of people look at winning as a way of building up their esteem, like winning something. Like, I got them. I told you if I hung in there long enough, they would leave him or her and be with me. And I knew the kind of person that I am. I have the goods to get them. You don't even understand how many of us, we become so foolish that we reduce our conversations to, please, did you see his wife? Oh, she don't have nothing on me. And he already told me she don't even cook and she don't do this. And let me tell you something. If I pick up this phone right now, he'll be here in 20 minutes. Like, we reduce ourselves. You know what's so worse about that? And you can flip that story for the man, right? Flip it either one. But what's so ridiculous about that is all of those facts that you just ran off as reasons why you think you look better, yet and still he's with her. So that tells you, well, be that as it may, my wife may not be as fine as you, but when I found her for the reason I wanted her for, looks to that degree wasn't in my value system. I wanted someone to treat me right, have a good heart, as a good level-headed person.
Right.
And so sometimes a lot of us, we make the mistake of going after the pretty fools. And and I'm just saying, well, we go after looks so much.
Yeah.
I used to hear when we was a kid in school, and they used to say, empty barrels make the most noise.
Yeah.
Well, we go after the empty barrels. They're loud. They got all this stuff going on, but no substance. Right. So when they are coming, you hear them. Someone that's full of substance, they move in silence because the way that they have to move according to the ground, because they're carrying a lot. So they're not just, it ain't just a bunch of tingling and cans and all that. You're not going to hear all that because of what they have within them. And so we have to get to a place where we have to stop worrying about the winning aspect. The fact is, you're with a person that's trying to finesse you into latching on as a third party to a covenant.
Right.
Bottom line, they're married. That's the end of it. It don't matter how great you are, how fine you are, how strapping of a man you are, I can hit it better than your husband. It don't matter.
Yeah.
Let's stop at they are married.
Right.
They have a person.
Right.
And we don't have to beat our chest, because if we're honest, most of us, we live for the ability to have a project to take somebody. People, they won't admit it, but so many people right this moment are in the inbox with someone virtually leaning on their shoulder about their marriage and how unhappy they are. And this person isn't doing this. Oh, and the person is saying, I understand, they shouldn't be like that. Number one, you're only hearing one side of the story. There's always two, right? What they're telling you and what their spouse will tell you will not align, I can assure you, right? But it sounds good, and so it's waking up your helper senses. Now you want to be a helper, and I can be better because they said they need me, and here we come being silly, and we play these little roles and these games in their life, and really you're just a recreational outlet.
Wow.
That's what we are. Recreational outlets for them to step away from responsibility and step over into foolishness. Then I'll go back. I'm playing foolishness and I'm going back. How many times have we heard the person, oh, I'm going to do it. Yes, I am. I'm leaving. I'm going to file next week. And next week turns into 3 years, 4 years, 10 years. They ain't never leaving, right? And when they do leave, it's usually because the person got fed up from the foolishness and left them.
Yeah.
And, they finally woke up one day. But the problem is we just have to let's stop at the whole winning someone's spouse does not shine a positive light on you. It doesn't mean you're this incredibly irresistible person because you got them. It really says, and this is what we don't look at. We want someone's spouse so bad, but we don't think about what happens when we get them. And now the transference of hysteria is now on us. Now you're afraid that someone will take your spouse because you took them. So if they're takeable, why do you think when you get them, what's so special about your hooks that no thief can unlatch them? You know what I'm saying? So we need to think about that.
I think even to that, and just kind of push it before the whole marriage aspect of it is, and that is the fact that often when we're dating people and we're talking with them and we're interacting with them, because of the fact that they have a couple of boxes checked off for us, and we see them in a certain way. And man, don't let them be attractive and nice looking. Oh my God, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. We're willing to take all of the smaller things that they have.
Yeah.
And when it comes to the more significant things, the larger things, we will overlook those issues in order to be like, well, they do text me back when I text them, and he do give me money for my hair when
just because money. I don't have to ask.
Right. And he did say he would help me with my rent, and but these are small things.
Yeah.
Compared to did he lie last week about where he actually was?
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? How come whenever his phone notifications go off, he has to leave the room in order to take the notification? I'm talking about behavior of a person who is potentially not as good as you think they are. But because, here we go again, but because you want what you want, you're willing to overlook all of their little sketchy behavioral things in order to get what you want. And so here's my bigger point. And so when they finally do show their colors, and you see them for what they really are, who do you have to really blame for that? Because you allow them in. You wanted what you wanted, and you got what you wanted. And so now, what? I'm about to mess it up. Why should you be upset when you see he's with another chick?
You knew what it was.
You knew what it
was, yeah.
But because you didn't want to address it because he was doing a little bit that you wanted him to do, you was like, well, I'm okay with that. I'm fine with that. And now he got somebody else.
But you know what always gives me pause? When I go back to story number 1, you know what the lady said when she had to fess up the truth of it.
Okay.
And this is a statement that I just don't understand. I haven't been able to wrap my head around it yet. But this is the story. The lady said, after finding out the man has the family in Cleveland, I'm sorry, and elsewhere, she's in Cleveland. She says that all he had, I don't understand why why he didn't give me the chance to choose. And so this is what in other words, what she's saying is she liked him so much and he did all of the right things that why didn't you tell me that you're married and give me the opportunity to deal with you or not? And so I just said to her, can you say that again? And she said, he could have just gave me the chance to choose. And I said, so you want to choose rather to deal with another woman's husband or not? I said, at the end of the day, the choice is still unethical, whether he tells you about it or not. That's why I say honesty is the new deceit. I can tell you, yes, I have a wife and we have 4 children over there. And I just really, really just want to just lay with you for a bit because you're so attractive. And when I'm in this area, I don't have anybody I'm interested in, but I really do like you. Would you like that? And so if you hear that at the end of the day, then it becomes, I don't know who you think I am. I'm not your hoe. Well, guess what? When we move like it, we look like it. So if there's no such thing as asking someone, tell me the truth and let me see whether or not I want to be complicit in your deceit.
Right.
And so, yes, overall, I get it. I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. She's maybe saying, if you're going to put me 6 feet under, give me a respectable funeral. You should have told me about it. Fine. But at the end of the day, how many of us, Adam, are not honest when we see the signs on the wall? But because it feels so good, we don't want to wake up from our dream. So we keep the dream going. But at the end of the day, when it all comes down, it's amazing to me how when explosions happen, that's when everybody's endorphins wake up. You know what? I know what happened on 4th of July. That's why I saw a baby bottle in the back seat. He was married. But see, it didn't mean nothing when you saw it. When you were in your dream, it didn't mean nothing. But when it all came out, now you all of a sudden, you came out of your coma, you can talk to the doctor. So it's like, come on, man.
Here's my issue with that. My issue with that is, in even though she's not willing to admit this, truth of the matter is she already made that decision. Now, granted, she didn't have all of the facts. She didn't have all of the, I guess, the fact that he was married. He didn't tell her, the reason why. But you gotta think. Come on. Let's use our brain. Let's use our brain for just a hot second. Let's critically think about this issue. So you go out of town for weeks on end. I will see you for maybe a couple of months, and then you come back. And so I should think that's a normal thing? Because if I'm in a relationship with you, then there is a duty of disclosure as to what's happening. Not only that, but as far as I understand, women have this thing called intuition.
Oh, now we're going somewhere
And
now.
I'm just saying this is what I have heard. I have heard women have intuition. And this intuition is often more right than it's wrong. Now, even though she did not know the specifics and the details of the situation,
Yeah.
you mean to tell me she ain't have an inkling of a clue that this dude, this Negro, was sitting here with a whole nother family in a whole nother time zone? Are you serious right now? Oh, come on. Women are famous for their intuition and being able to detect this kind of stuff. So here's my thing, and I want to push this real hard. You so deluded yourself to the point where you turned off your intuition, you rejected the clues, you pushed the information out the door. Why? Because you want what you want, and you want it against yourself.
Wow.
I rest my case.
Wow. Wow. It's just, man. So listen, I'm telling you, when it comes to desire, it's like when you got loneliness, like there are so many people here. This is what's so wild to me. So many people that are always surrounded by people. They got many dates, many relationships, but so lonely.
Right.
They're lonely internally. And it's like there are people around them, people are doing this, that, and the other, but it's always lonely. And then when that type of situation comes around, usually those answers come at the opposite of your status. You're single, that person is married. You're aspiring to be who they are.
Right.
So if one of them come to you split and broken and saying, I need, I appreciate the way you treat me. And so you just release yourself to be at their beckon, right? Mm-hmm. It's so many people out here right this moment that will tell you they're in a relationship, but they're not in a relationship with another single person. They're committed to a married person. They're just not being honest. Their behavior, they stay home, they go to limited places with their friends, because the married person got the audacity to say, did I see you at that seafood restaurant on the waterfront? I told you, I don't play that. Now, I know I got a wife, but I don't play. To me, how do you dare tell me where I can go and you're a married person? Like, come on. But the point is, so when all of this is happening like this, because let's just be honest, when people are in those situations where you're content, when you know deception or when you know you're being foolish, you're comfortable because the person is meeting the needs. They're doing the things that the person is doing. And listen, one of the worst things you can do as a lonely person is open up yourself intimately. And when you open up yourself intimately, that loneliness exacerbates and it becomes a dependency. Now you're not only lonely still, but if that person moves to the left or the right, why did you leave? Come back. Don't. I need you. And it's just, you done opened up Pandora's box. Yeah. And now it's just like, oh my God, I done stepped into something I had no idea about. Yeah. So, like I said, man, at the end of the day, I know that we're human. So we're going to come in contact with this one, that one, interactions. But let's not pretend we in the blind. We know who these people are. I'll take it even further. We even know their intent. Right. Most people done seen the movie of, I'm only with them because they got cancer. And after the cancer's up, I'm going to leave. People got all kinds of stories at them. They're going to tell you the person's sick. They're going to leave. They're in another country. I've seen it all. So my point is, when you hear these things, don't listen to the story. Look at the status. Yeah. The story going to come all over the place. The bottom line is, what's the status? Are you still married? Well, technically, yeah. Well, okay. Try me after you have a decree in your hand.
Right.
Cut the chase, because all they're gonna give you every story and excuse in the book to entertain them while they're in purgatory.
Right.
So the bottom line is, it's not that no one wants to deny anybody of love, but you got to look out for yourself first. And if somebody else belongs to someone else, I don't care how convincing the argument is, they belong to someone else.
Right.
And you can't have them until they're free. And we got to just be sure.
Because I'm sitting here thinking, I'm even thinking about my own life. And I'm thinking about things, other people that I know. And here's the thing, though. I guess my thing would be, okay, you're currently married, but you're in that separated status, which is a nebulous type of situation. It's
in the gray.
You're not married, but you're not divorced. You're in the gray.
Yeah.
See, here's the thing, though. You can say, yeah, I'm separated, but I'm working on getting divorced.
Yeah.
You can say that all day long.
For
you can
sure.
say it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and you can say it twice on Sunday. But like you said, until you actually do what you are saying that you're going to do, then we should consider you off limits until you do what you said you're going to do.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, because of the fact that, again, we want what we want, we are willing, again, to overlook that issue, the fact that you're still married, in order to get what we want. And so, we're still saying, yeah, I'm getting divorced, and it's year 2. Yeah, I'm getting divorced, and 4 years I'm going by. Yeah, I'm getting divorced. Now we're talking about we're on 7 years now. Yeah, I'm getting divorced. Negro. It's been 12 years. Listen, if you haven't done it yet, you're not going to do it. You got to understand. Listen, y'all. Listen to me real good. A person is going to do what they want to do, especially if it's a priority, if it's important to them, if it's significant to them. You don't even have to worry about them doing it. They're going to do it. Why? Because they want to do it. They have a desire to do it. It is a mission in their life to get it done. But if I got to come back to you and ask you the same question over and over again for the next 15 years and you haven't done it yet, 9 times out of 10, Charles,
they're not going to do it.
It's just not going to get done.
Adam, listen, I remember. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But we're still waiting.
Yeah.
We are still
waiting, and faithful, too.
And faithful.
It ain't gonna happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
He said he's gonna get divorced this year, and by God, I believe it. He said he's gonna make me his wife, and we're gonna move together in Montana, and we're gonna live on the farm with some alpacas. I believe it. And that was 12 years ago.
Wow.
And it didn't happen.
Wow.
When are you gonna realize that it ain't gonna happen?
Wow.
I'm just saying, man.
Look, real quick before I let it go, I remember when I was dealing with that situation. It was so funny because I was so adamant in my disdain for the situation. I didn't just let it, even though I was there being foolish, I didn't let it never really go off the table of discussion. Yeah. It was something I always brought up. You know what? It got so funny one day, Adam. You know what? Let's see. Tomorrow, take me downtown. I'm going to get the pay. Look, this person went so far, Adam. We drive downtown. I find the parking space and wait. The person go all the way up into the county building, get the paperwork. We came out of here with some marital paperwork to start with in terms of your divorce. They do nothing. But they thought it was going to buy them some more time. She was looking for more time to keep being who she was. Right. And at the end of the day, listen, when all of that smoke cleared, it always amazing how when it all clears, when it all blows up and when it's all over, then when the people try to circle back, and the person tried to circle back. And so the amazing thing is how you know that what you're in is not love and it's lust. Because when they come back, you feel so detached from them. Wow. Like if you really love somebody, when they come back, even if you in a relationship, it's going to cause you a little fairy brain a little. You're going to be like, because you knew how you felt about them, right? It's going to shake you up a little bit. But when the person came back, she was just talking, and I was just like, wow, 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 wow. And so she called herself telling me why she didn't react to get divorced back then. Okay. And here goes the classic thing. Well, it's just that I had been married to him, and this is such and such time, and he was coming up I was waiting for his pension. I was like, seriously, what about your own life? I would say, well, that's good for you. Wow. Nice life. Right. But the point is, we get ourselves in these situations, man, and we walk around here blindly entertaining someone else's person. We even reserve ourselves and don't talk to nobody else because that person we love is with somebody else. I mean, belong to somebody else. So we gotta wake up and stop being foolish and stop being put to sleep and stop being so comfortable because of what we want. Right. It's okay to want things, but try to get them yourself. And if you can't get them yourself, then maybe some things are, either out of your situation at the time, or maybe they are meant for you to get when you have your person in marriage. Right. But you can't simulate marriage while someone else is married. Right. That's not the time to play. Hey, it's not driving school. They already married, so it just is what it is. But it ain't easy because the married folks got to stop too, Adam, because the single people don't get with them by themselves. So the married people have to stop going to the single places, stop going in the DMs, stop going over there, stop saying, I can pray with you right after church. Stop all of that and be with their person. If you're single, do you. But if you're not single, don't put the married people in the mess. That's all I'm saying. Because the single people don't know. We don't know better sometimes. The single people, what you say? And there you go. We just being foolish. So the single people just be foolish sometimes.
Oh my God, man! I just think we can do better. I know we can do better. Yeah, it's just a matter of us really, not discerning, but figuring out what it is that we actually need in our lives. And again, like you said, there's nothing wrong with wanting, but you can't want the wrong thing.
Yeah. That's good. Want the right, want the wrong, want the right.
We more often than not, Charles, the reality is, Bruce talked to me, we want the wrong thing more than the right thing.
Yeah. The wrong thing, listen, the wrong thing is exciting.
Oh, yeah. The wrong thing, it's sensational, and it just drives me, and it just thrills me, and it turns me on. The wrong thing. If it ain't wrong, it ain't right.
Yeah, we need to that wrong thing feels, because the wrong thing, it's an edginess to it.
Yeah,
you feel like every moment that you're with them, it's just the reason we feel that way, because it's a stolen moment.
Yes, stolen.
It's a stolen moment. So think about when somebody comes to you and say, Adam, come in for a second, man. Look, I got a 24-karat diamond ring. I got it from over at that store. We boosted it, but you can have it for only $200. In your mind, you like, this is a $20,000 ring. If it's real, it's stolen. Right. So it feels good to benefit from something someone else labored for. It's good to benefit where others have labored. I get the fun part. They got the responsibility.
Right.
So we want to play in that zone, and it feels good. But listen, it don't feel good, Adam, when it is you.
Man.
When you become the married person to that person, or when you live and you with them, then you realize the world of fear that you live in, because now you don't trust them.
Right.
Let's just be honest. We can say what we want to. Bruce, tell them, I don't care over the years who you done talked to. You done stole such and such girl, such and such man, because you so fine and handsome, but in the back of your mind, you don't trust them one bit because you knew they were able to be lured by you.
Right.
So you know that if this person is a lurable person, then it's just my turn at the moment. That's it.
Just a matter of time.
All right. Well, anyway, we appreciate you guys tuning in yet another week to Unique Perspectives Love Talk Radio. We hope that you guys got something out of it, and can apply some of this stuff. And this stuff is really messing us up for real.
Yeah,
and we got to wake up and stop. We got to stop making these willful mistakes that we know is wrong.
Okay.
And a lot of times we done seen it. We've seen the outcomes time in and time out, but we addicted to the drug of the challenge. The challenge is the drug, and we addicted to it. So we want, if it's racy, if it's stolen, we want some part in it. So we got to just pick better and learn to desire better. Stop desiring stolen things and desire something that could be legitimately yours. You know what I mean?
You know what, real quick though, it actually flashed in my mind was the fact that often, particularly when we're dealing with health issues, and we talk to the doctor, and the doctor says, well, you're borderline hypertension. You need to cut down on your sodium intake. Which means there's going to have to be an adjustment as to what you eat and how much you eat. And so we don't always want to change our diets because we like what we like and we want what we want. So if I want to eat a whole bag of Ruffled potato chips,
leave me alone.
Sodium that it has, that's what I want to do. But just be aware that there's a consequence to eating a whole bag of Ruffled potato chips.
Wow.
I promise you, your blood pressure will not be good.
Wow.
That's all I'm saying. Check the diet. Check what you eating ain't always good for you. It may be good to you, but it ain't good for you. Y'all don't want to talk to me. Y'all don't want to me. All y'all Suzy Q eating people.
Look, honey buns, pound cakes, and all that. Man. Dang. All right, man. All right, y'all. Peace out and over to okay, we'll see.
Suzy Q land.
Yeah, over to Suzy Q land. Unplugged. All right.
The doors of the Love Church are now open. Dear world.
All right.
Stolen water is sweet.
Stolen water is sweet.
And bread eaten and
we love. Listen, that's really the benediction. What do we have? What is one of the biggest leading causes to most of the ailments we have is sweets, sugar. So in the love community, one of the biggest ailments that we have is being addicted to stolen sweets. Stolen. Look, some of the best lines a woman or a man have heard has come from somebody who know they married, know they living with that man, living with that woman, know you engaged, but guess what we forget about? The reason the line is so good, Adam, is because it's laced with comfort. When a person already got a wife or a husband, they don't have nothing to lose. They got somebody. So I can go home to my person. So this interaction right here is merely transactional in exchange for me. So I can tell you the best lyrics you ever want to hear because I got somebody at home I'm going to when I leave. So if we can go over to your house or to this hotel and then I'm going home.
Right.
When you got a person in the club running up to you or even at the church coming up to you and they're organically single, they almost sound corny and lame because they don't have the comfort. Their desire is all, I mean, I really like you. I see you every week. They kind of goofy almost. But when the person is so smooth, it's only because they have a smooth backdrop behind them. They got a green screen that supports their game.
Right.
Other than that, when people don't have nobody to speak on how smooth, how good, how sexy, how whatever in bed you are, if you don't have a supporting cast, your game is lame.
Yeah.
Your game is only tight when it's overly rehearsed.
Yeah.
When you are in it, that's how you can fool folks when you're in it. So, you got to look at it like that, and we got to stop being victims because that's what happened. We out here being vict every
yeah,
for sure.
I think that my last thing is just want better for yourself. Just want better for yourself, and nobody's going to want it more than what you want, which means there are going to be some situations that come along in your life that you're going to have to say no to, even though you don't want to say no to it. She looked good.
I don't want to say no.
I don't want to say no. But you need to say no. You should want better in your life, man. I think all of us should want better in our lives.
Hey, Adam, remember one time a long time ago?
I know.
A long time ago, it was someone that sometimes somebody would sometimes see on their way to work, and somebody said, Charles. And I said, nope. We both said, but no. And the person knew, the buddy knew. He's like, yeah, no. But they saw him. You know what I mean? So long time ago. I mean, many moves ago.
Many moves ago. That's right.
Long time ago.
Right. Put it all the way in the past. Put it all the way in the past. That ain't happening no more right now.
Oh, gosh.
We are free from that right now.
We're free. All right. Well, all right, man. Good. Glad y'all tuned in. Hope you learned something. And we'll be back here next week. Same time, same channel, 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Unless there's an update, we'll tell you. If not, just be there at 4:30. All right. Be blessed.
Peace, y'all.